previously, we've taken a look at how to use the dot equals method to compare strings in an if statement, and we've also taken a look at nested if statements and how we can put one if statement within another. But if statements aren't the only selection statement available to us. Another is known as a switch statement, and we're going to take a look at a simple example of how to use that now. We're going to call this example theatre3.java. You've been asked to develop an application using a switch statement that allows a theatre employee to enter a day of the week and then display the cost of a theatre ticket for that day. The ticket prices are as follows. Monday €5, Tuesday €5, Wednesday €5, Thursday 10, Friday 20, Saturday 30 and Sunday €20. So that's our table. Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday €5. Thursday is 10, Friday is 20, Saturday 30 and Sunday 20. Okay, let's take a look now at the code for doing this application. So we'll switch back to TextPad. Okay, so you'll see here I've already created a new document and I've saved it as theatre3.java. So my class this time is going to be called theatre3. We'll start our application with a comment, theatre3.java, remembering an uppercase T for your class name. Then we give the author's name and the date, the 24th of October 2013. Okay, again we're just going to do this example using an app class. We could use an instantiable class, but the focus here is on the syntax of a switch statement, not on developing instantiable classes. So we'll start by importing javax.swing so that we can get our input and output. We're going to use JOptionPane for our input and output. Then we have our class header, public class theatre3.java. Well, we don't need the .java here. Our main method header, public static void main string args. Close my curly brackets if I'm inclined to forget to. And away we go. So let's declare any variables that we think we're going to need. We're going to need a variable to store the day of the week. String day. I don't think we're going to need to store anything else throughout the course of this program. So we ask the user to enter the day, and let's jump straight in and do that. Get our input from the user. Day equals JOptionPane dot show input dialog. Please enter a day. Again, we don't need to parse it. JOptionPane assumes things are strings. We want it to be a string, so there's nothing extra needs to be done there. And then we're going to do our process and output together. And we're going to do that using a switch statement. So the syntax for a switch statement requires the keyword switch, and then you follow that in brackets with whatever variable your switch is going to be dependent on. So it's going to do different things dependent on the value of day. So we put in the keyword day. Okay, and we open our curly bracket to signify the start of our switch statement. And then we use what's known as a case. And we take each possibility that might be stored in day and we give a case for that particular possibility. So the first possibility is Monday. And we put a colon there now, and then we follow on the next line with our output. JOptionPane dot show message dialog null. The ticket, the admission is, and we said on Monday's admission is going to be €5. Okay, and that's the end of that particular case. So the Monday case is over, and the way that we signify that is by using the keyword break. So that means break out of this particular switch statement, and then let's go on with our next case. So our next case is going to be Tuesday. And we'll do our uppercase T for Tuesday. Again, you have your colon, and then what follows is your action. J option pane dot show message dialog null, comma, the admission is, and on a Tuesday it's also €5. So €5. And then break. You'll see your keywords are all turning blue. Okay, the third case then is Wednesday in my quotation marks, and we have to use the quotation marks because it's a string. If we were doing a switch statement based on integers or doubles, we wouldn't be using quotation marks here. So just watch out for that. So this case is Wednesday, and my action this time is going to be J option pane dot show message dialog null, the admission is €5. Okay, and then break from that case. Our next case then is going to be Thursday, and we said on Thursdays we were going to charge €10. So J option pane dot show message dialog null, the admission is €10, and then break. And of course, in this particular example, we have only one action in each case. We've only one line of code, one instruction, but you can have multiple things happening in each case, okay? That's why we use the break. Your break just has to come after all of the actions that you want to carry out. We move on then to the case for Friday. Our colon, J option pane dot show message dialog null, the admission is €20 on a Friday, and then break. Our next case then is Saturday, our colon, and onto our action, which is J option pane dot show message dialog null, the admission is €30 on a Saturday, break from this case. And then finally we have a case for Sunday, and in this then we're going to do J option pane dot show message dialog null, the admission is €20, and break. However, like with our if statement, we don't just stop there. We need to handle the possibility that a user will enter something that's not matching one of our cases, okay? So we need to do a final case known as the default case, okay? And again we have our colon, and then we do J option pane dot show message dialog null, that is not a valid day, and then break. Okay, so you have to finish with your default. It would work without the default in there, but it's not going to be a perfectly functioning switch statement. When we get to the end of our switch statement, don't forget as well to close your curly bracket. It's important that you do that. Okay, and we have dealt with all of our different cases. So you can see switch statements are really only suitable when we have a set number of possibilities. That's the better time to use them. I know I have 7 days of the week. I have 7 cases plus my default case. So if we compile this now, you'll see I have one error, and I think I noticed this a second ago. We have cannot find symbol and it's pointing here to the dot, which we know is not the problem. It's rarely the problem. But what you'll find is usually what follows after the dot is where the issue is arising. And instead of writing show message dialog here, I've got shoe. So if I double click on the top line of that error, it brings my cursor to the line where my error is, and I can change my shoe message dialog to my show message dialog. And when I compile it again, then it compiles successfully. Control and 2 to run. If I enter Monday, the admission is €5. Let's try it again, and let's enter Saturday. The admission is €30. And if we try one last time, but again, let's do our Wednesday. And we'll spell it incorrectly. That is not a valid day, so it's caught by our default case. So the things to remember about a switch statement, you have a number of keywords here. You have switch, okay, followed by your variable that the switch statement is dependent on. You have your different cases, one for each of the possible values that might occur in that particular variable. You have your break to show the end of each individual case. And don't forget, in this instance, we're dealing with strings, so we've got quotation marks around the words. If we were dealing with numbers, it would simply be case 1, case 2, case 3. No quotation marks. The quotation marks are specific to this example because we're using strings. So that wraps up selection statements for now. We've seen if statements. We've looked at all of the Boolean operators that go with those. We've had nested if statements. We've looked at comparing strings in if statements, and we've looked at switch statements. The next big thing that we're going to take a look at is repetition, so that will all follow in later videos. Thanks for watching.